Okay, 7-1, the law of sines, day 2. Okay, these triangles that we're going to work with are side-side angles, and there is an ambiguous case that happens where you can have no triangle, so you won't have to solve anything. One triangle or two triangles. And all of this is determined by your altitude, which is this length here, which we call h. This measurement determines which triangle you're going to get. So the first thing you always have to do is find h. So I'm going to give you an example so you can see how it works. Let's say angle B was 50 and this was 3. And so I would find h by doing sine 50 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So I would solve it by doing 3 times sine 50, and you're going to get approximately 2.29 or 2.3. And so what happens is if this side is smaller than your h value, it won't be long enough to make a triangle. So let's say it's like 1.5 or anything smaller than h, that results in no triangle. So if this is angle B, so if h is larger than that opposite side, then this is no triangle. And then you have a case where I don't like to draw this side yet because we don't know. That's why it's so important to find your altitude first. Then let's say that this third side is equal. So let's say that it is 2.29. Then you're going to have a right triangle, which means you only, oh, be careful because only lowercase letters. So this will result in one triangle if they're equal. Or let's say it was 4. So let's say this side was 4. So notice 4 is larger, but it's also larger than this third side too, which means we can't, it'll be too long to swing around. So we won't be able to make a second triangle. So if that third side, which is B, is larger than H and larger than your other side, then you'll have one triangle. And then what happens if little b is in between these two lengths? Let's say 2.5. Then what happens is it will be long enough to form this third side, and it'll also be just enough to swing back around to form a second triangle. So when the value of b is in between your second side and your altitude, then you have two triangles. So you'll have the original one, can't tell that that's a C, and you'll have that obtuse triangle. And I'll call that my second B. And my second A that I have to actually, oh, I'm sorry. We're going to have the same B. So this will be my second A and my second angle A and my second side A. So you would have to solve both of these triangles. So in example 1, we're given angle A is 43 degrees, little a is 81, and little b is 62. So remember, the first thing you want to do is find your altitude. So I'm going to do sine 43 equals, I'll call this H, opposite over hypotenuse. I multiply both sides by 62, and I'm going to get my altitude is 42.3. Now, because my side opposite the angle given is larger than my altitude and is larger than my other side, which is little b, that means you're going to only get one triangle. So I'm going to solve it now. I'll find angle B next, since we have side B. Sine 43 over 81 is equal to sine B over 62. So you would cross multiply. Make sure you close the parentheses when you multiply. And you would divide by 81. And you should get a value such as 0.52202. Now to actually find angle B, you have to use the second key. And you'll get angle B is 31 degrees. Which means now we can find angle C. So you're going to do 180 minus angle B plus angle A. And then you'll get angle C is 106 degrees. And then once you get your two angles, now you can find little c. So you do sine 43 over 81 is equal to sine 106 over little c. You cross multiply. Make sure every time you put in your sine value, you close the parentheses, divide, and you should get little c is 114.2. So in example 2, I gave you my information. So I'm going to draw the triangle. I'm going to find H. Sine 75 equals H opposite over hypotenuse. So H will equal sine 75 times 71. Sine 75 times 71, H equals 68.6. Notice that this is larger than my third side, which means technically this won't be long enough to make a triangle. So remember, anytime H is larger than A, or whatever this third side is, so since it's larger than 51, this results in no triangle. In example 3, we're given that angle A is 40 degrees, little a is 54, and B is 62. So I'm going to find my altitude by doing sine 40 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And so multiplying both sides by 62, I'm going to get my altitude is 39.9. Now, because this side length is between my altitude and my other side, that means another triangle can be drawn here to make it obtuse. So you're going to have two triangles that you're solving for. So you'll have your obtuse triangle, which angle A is still 40. little a is still 54, and little b is still 62. And then you'll have your original triangle, which they gave us. And to keep me from getting confused, I call this my second B and my second C. So I'm going to solve this triangle first, and I'm going to find angle B. Sine 40 over 54 is equal to sine B over 62. So I'm going to cross multiply again. And to save time, this is what I end up with after cross multiplying. And to find angle B, you're going to do second of this answer. And you should get angle B is 48 degrees. So if we have angle A and B, remember you add them up and you subtract them from 180. And you'll get angle C is 92 degrees. And then I find little c by doing sine 40 over 54 equals sine 92 over little c. So I'm going to cross multiply, and I'll get little c is 84. So now that triangle is solved. And if you have problems getting those values, let me know, and I'll help you on your calculator. Now, because my big angle B was 48, to find this angle B, you just do 180 minus 48 because they're in the same triangle. They are supplementary. And you're going to get your second B measurement is 132 degrees, which means to find angle C, or your second C, you're going to do 180 minus whatever 40 plus 132 is. And that should give you your second C, which is 8 degrees. And then to find little c, you do sine 40 over 54 is equal to sine 8 over little c. You cross multiply, and you should get your second c is 11.7.